Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest. That's going to be Andy Swan, co-founder at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Thank you. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, and happy Monday to Reddit investors at this point. Stock at an all-time high today after going public in March and upgraded today. It seems like it's getting stretched a little bit as far as valuations, but if they're growing at the rate that last quarter showed, maybe it's reflective of the stock moves, right?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of great things out of Reddit along a lot of different lines of growth and of opportunity. Reddit is a conversation center of the internet. It has been, especially for English speakers, for a very long time. But what Reddit is doing is really tapping into the power of AI, of large language models, and opening that content up to the world through very effective translation that has had an enormous impact on their daily active user growth globally. And I think that's a huge opportunity for Reddit. The other opportunity, not just in terms of the growth of the user base, which I think is very impressive. We see that in the web visits increase year over year. That is accelerating at this point. But not just that, it's the user base is great, but they're really monetizing that user base at a higher and higher level every single quarter. And part of the reason is because, again, that rich language base that they have, all of these conversations that are happening, Likefolio is keenly aware of the value of the data that Reddit has for language processing, for identifying signal, for identifying trends, et cetera, and for training AI models. And Reddit's data licensing business is absolutely booming as a result. We think there's enormous upside there because they're just getting started. Also, just getting started is their advertising revenue. This is a company that has an enormous number of users who are very dedicated to the platform, who are creating content, very rich content on a daily basis in very clear categories of interest, kind of an advertiser's dream. And we see Reddit is really very far behind the rest of the internet in terms of delivering ads to its customers, only about $300 million in ad revenue. And when you compare that to Pinterest, that's a drop in the bucket. When you compare it to Meta or Facebook, it's literally less than 1/100th of what Meta and Facebook's doing. So the avenue for growth, the opportunity for growth for Reddit in both its AI data licensing business and its advertising business is exponential and exceptional. And you add to that a growing global user base, and you've got the recipe for a really nice run in the stock, which we've already seen. But we see a lot more out of this over the next 5 to 10 years.
Andy, is this just as simple as don't look at the chart, don't look at the overbought nature, don't look at the negative PE. It is so early in this company's history that you don't realize, like you mentioned, they have a very small float compared to other firms, not a lot of stock out there. So is this just a matter of getting your mind around it is so early in their life that they could grow like crazy for a long period of time?
Yeah, I think that Reddit was, you could almost think of it as Reddit has turned itself, from someone's hobby to a cool spot on the internet that a lot of people contributed to now a real company that has gone public and is answering to shareholders. And the initial indications we're getting from the growth of the AI data licensing revenues, the growth of the advertising revenues, is that they're taking this opportunity very, very seriously. And so it's a mature company in terms of its content creation, in terms of its brand to the user base. The users of Reddit aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And you add on to that now you have an executive team that is hyper-focused on monetizing that opportunity. And that's a very new thing for Reddit. And that's why it just IPO'd. That's why there's a lot of risk in this name still. There's going to be a lot of volatility, but also there's an extraordinary amount of upside.
Andy, the way that I look at Reddit, and I've been on it before. It's like it's a forum. People are asking questions. Does ChatGPT come into the discussion here that it might start cannibalizing a lot of this because of the fact that, hey, you can just go to ChatGPT or any other AI assistant and kind of get the same type of thing where you can almost create a conversation when you're asking a question?
Yeah, I actually think of it just the opposite. I think that is the opportunity for Reddit because it is, again, the data licensing side of the business. That's who's buying the data, is the ChatGPTs of the world. It's the Groks of the world. It's all of the large language models that are trying to learn what people are talking about and how they speak. So I think that's the enormous opportunity. One of the old tricks in the book of using Google used to be, if you wanted a really good answer, you just take your normal Google search and you add the word Reddit to the end of it, and it would, make the results so much better. It speaks to the quality of content that is on Reddit, and that quality of content means quality of data for the AI providers, for the ChatGPTs, the Groks, the Claudes, et cetera. They're all going to be fighting over having access to that data and who can extrapolate the best information out of it. So we think Reddit's in a really winning position from that shift away from Google search towards AI models and that conversational type of search.
Yeah, Andy, that Morgan Stanley note, they upgraded, put a price target to $200 from $70. $300 bull case for this one. Daily active unique users up 47% last quarter. I mean, are you guys still buyers here based on your data? Because it seems pretty solid.
Yeah, we are. I think I think you guys are right. The stock looks a little stretched in the very near term, and we see that. It was a nice upgrade this morning. A lot of the things that we had sent to Folio clients a couple of weeks ago are now in an upgrade note. We always love to see that. The stock's pulled back off of a big gap up. It indicates that maybe the stock's a little stretched in the near term, but long term, medium term, we think this is a high potential opportunity with a lot of risk and volatility attached to it.
All right, great stuff, great data as always, Andy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that's Andy Swan, co-founder at Folio, breaking down Reddit.